European adventure this winter. What up, YouTube? It's your boy Jermaine, back with another video. This video, thought I would talk about this European adventure that I just got back from. This European adventure that I went on, and I had a really good time. Had a blast. It was a lot of fun. It was very interesting. This was a very different trip. There was a lot of rushing on this trip. Like, I feel that I was just, literally I was just country hopping. It was just one of those trips where I'm just going from place to place to place. Let's just jump right into this. Now, I had already had a trip to Australia planned at the end of January, so I was thinking, yo, I just want to go to Australia. That would be really, really awesome. And then this flight popped up. I'm following this guy on Facebook called the Points Guy. Points Guy is really awesome. He always posts really cheap flights, really good deals all the time. He posted this blog post. It said from the west coast of the U.S. going to, it was like Switzerland for $300. So when I went on Google search and when I went online and checked, it wasn't $300. It was $270 round trip. And this was not on a budget airlines. This was on like a legit airlines. This is on like British Airways, which they include food, they include drinks, and if you fly WOW Airlines or Norwegian Airlines, there is no drinks or food included. All those things are extra. And at $270, this flight is actually cheaper than what I would pay on the budget airlines. So this was just a really, really good deal all around. Great, let's go over to Switzerland. So this is my second time going to Switzerland. I went to Switzerland for the first time last summer, and I had a blast in Zurich. Thought Zurich was quite an expensive place, and that was my idea of Switzerland. I was thinking, wow, Switzerland is not a cheap place, like not at all. Then arriving to Geneva. Geneva was pretty cool. I remember taking the train from the airport. The train was super cheap. It was like 2 or 3 euros or something like that. I was really surprised. It was really, really easy and convenient to get to. It was very, very close. Maybe it was like a 15-minute journey, and bam, you're right there and smack dead in the middle of the city. I found this really, really good Chinese restaurant. I just went to Google Maps, typed in Chinese food. All these restaurants popped up. Instead of picking one, I just kind of took a little stroll and went for a little walk. Found this yummy place, walked in, ordered food. Hey, do you accept credit card? Yes, we accept credit card. I sat down. They gave me the food, ate the food. The waiter comes and she gives me this box, like this little box, long box, leaves it on the table, walks away. And I'm thinking, what is this? Because there's no writing on the box. It's just like a white box, like, you know how it's just no writing on the box. So instead of me opening it, I just wanted to know, like, so I was like, hey, what is this? And she said, it's a calendar. So she gave me a calendar. I didn't know if this was something that if this was something that was free, or if this was something that was extra, or I just didn't know. So I was just curious. She gave me the calendar. I thought that was really, really awesome. You know, spent a night in Geneva, and then I went over to Zurich next. From Zurich, from Geneva to Zurich, this is about a 3-hour journey roughly. So from there, I went over to Zurich. I have a friend that lives very close to Zug, Switzerland, which is not too far from Zurich. And Zug is a pretty funky place, pretty interesting place. From there, met up with a friend, you know, crashed at her house. This friend, I actually met her in South Africa, just traveling in South Africa about 3 months ago. I was in South Africa backpacking, traveling. I'm actually going to go back to South Africa in a few months. So if I have any homies down in South Africa, yo, I'll be back. Like, I love South Africa. It's like now my favorite country in the world. But, you know, I was actually making this video talking about this Europe winter trips. Let's get back to that. Okay, so met the girl from South Africa. So we're hanging out in Switzerland. We had this idea of going to Liechtenstein because, like, I'm trying to go to 100 countries, and Liechtenstein is this really, really small country in between Switzerland and in between Austria. So I thought, yo, when else am I gonna have the opportunity to go there? Like, this is really awesome. Like, yo, I should get my friend to go, and she can go too because she's never went. So her and I went to Liechtenstein, and she was actually just excited as I was because she only lives about an hour and a half away. But it's one of those things that, like, she was like, I would never go like alone, but since you came here to go, like, I'm totally down to go. And it's kind of like me living in San Francisco and not going to see Alcatraz. But if I had a friend that came from Europe to San Francisco to visit me and they wanted to go see Alcatraz, like, I would be so down to go see Alcatraz. But just waking up on a normal day, like going down and go see Alcatraz, like, I wouldn't do it, you know. There's a lot of other places in California that I wouldn't just normally randomly go by myself, but if I had friends that were visiting from overseas, I'd be like, yeah, let's go to Big Sur, or yeah, let's go to Big Bear, yeah, let's go to Santa Cruz, yeah, let's go all around California and do really, really awesome fun stuff. Yeah, you guys get what I'm saying. So from there, we went to Liechtenstein. Did not spend that much time in Liechtenstein. This is a very, very small country. There's not a lot of things to do. It's almost like a little town, like a little village. If there is a McDonald's, there's just not. It's just a very like peaceful place. It's basically a tax haven, for the most part. There's lots of laws and certain things that go on there, and it's basically one of those places. So it's not like it's not like going to Paris or going to London. Like there's lots of touristy things to do and lots of options to choose from. We ended up going to a restaurant which was kind of expensive. Lunch was I think it was like $60 or something like that, just for the two of us. And actually, the lunch was really, 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 really good. It was really, really decent. I'm really glad I went. Then from there, I went back to Switzerland, and then I was hanging out with one friend, and she had to go to work. So I was originally going to hang out, I guess, in Zug, but then I was going to meet this American girl that was from the U.S., and I went to this coffee shop. I was there to meet her, and I waited for 3 hours. She never showed up, so I was thinking, wow, what am I doing? So I remember just hanging out one night in Zug, and I was just a little bummed because at first I really didn't have anything planned because I knew my friend had to work that night. And then I had plans because I was going to hang out with this American girl that was friends with my friend from Switzerland. So I was thinking, oh, great, this is going to be fun, this is going to be awesome. And then we never hung out, and then I was just the whole night just sort of, I don't know, it kind of changed. And then that was Switzerland. Certain things happen when you travel. Everything is not all fun and happy, and not everything goes perfect. Sometimes there can be miscommunication. The American girl actually took the wrong bus, and she was going I think 2.5 hours going the opposite way or something like that. Or I don't know, but we didn't meet, and I ended up staying there at the coffee house until it closed. And my friend was she came back, she was like, what happened? You didn't meet my friend? And it was just a mess, right? So that was totally cool. And then we said bye, and then from there, I caught a flight from Zurich over to Prague. Oh my gosh, homeboy Jermaine is just moving around. So that was really easy, that was chill. But then from Prague, I was going over to Slovakia to visit another friend that I met in South Africa. This girl that honestly, I really, really like a lot. I know she's going to see this video, but honestly, I just really haven't liked anyone, in a really long time. I've had, crushes on people, but I really just haven't liked anyone. But it's kind of a weird thing because, we're separated by oceans, and we live very, very, very different lives. She just lives a different life from me. I love the city, and she doesn't like the city at all. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes opposites attract, but yeah. So anyway, I was going to Slovakia, and I took the overnight train to Slovakia, and honestly, the train was brutal. It was okay, but it was I just wish I wasn't on a train right now. I kind of wanted this trip to be chill, but then at the last minute, I added Slovakia into this trip because I really want to see my friend. Honestly, the original plan was to hang out in Geneva, then spend a couple days in Zurich, and then fly over to Amsterdam, spend a couple days in Amsterdam. You guys know what would probably take place in Amsterdam. But anyway, I wanted to cut Amsterdam out of the whole trip just because I wanted to go to Slovakia, went to visit a friend, and I wanted my friend to show me parts of her country that I've never seen before, because I've actually been to Slovakia before. I went to Slovakia 4 or 5 years ago. But I only went to the capital city, and I did not see anything near what I saw on this trip of Slovakia. And the nature that I got to see in Slovakia on this trip was just pretty dang amazing. I've never been snowboarding or skiing or anything like that. Well, I definitely did that on this trip. And wow, Slovakia was a whole lot of fun. So hanging out with my friend, that was really awesome because I don't know, it's kind of weird because when I met her, we met in this really awesome way. I don't really want to get into it, but it was just mind blowing how we met. And then now I'm in Europe and we're hanging out again, and this is super cool. This is pretty dang awesome. So she picked me up from the train station, and I went to her house, stayed with her family, met her mom, met her dad, and it was just really awesome. They're just really, really welcoming, and We actually stayed at her house for like a night, and then we spent a couple more nights in like the mountains, like where it was like tons of snow, because at her house it was snowing, but it was nowhere near the amount of snow that we saw just maybe a 20-minute drive away. Like, it was insane, like just snow, like crazy amounts of snow. So we went there, stayed for a couple nights, got to hike around, got to go to some mountains and stuff like that. One day we went hiking in the mountains, and I did not include this in a vlog because this was just really, really bad, and I feel that this incident, like, it sort of like messed up our relationship, like, to a certain degree. But we were hiking in the mountains, and we're at the top of the mountains, and she was going to go visit. She was going to go drop a card off or something to a friend that lives or works at the top of the mountains. So we had been hanging out, obviously, the whole trip. We'd been together. And we're at this bar, like, at the top, and it's freezing, by the way. It's like 15 degrees, okay? It's freezing, but when you're hiking to the top, you're moving around so much that you're not even cold anymore. Like, I have my jacket unzipped. I don't even have a hat on my head. When you're going down, you start to get cold, okay? And we were starting to go down, but we stopped at this one place. And she was like, hey, just go in here, have a beer. I'm going to go drop this card off, like, at my friend's place. It's really, really close. So I didn't think anything of it, didn't ask any questions. At this point, I was just like, just about to go inside and be warm for a minute. So I didn't want to go and order a drink without her, because I'm thinking, what if it takes her longer to get back? And, like, I don't want to just order a drink without her. And I'll be honest, like, it was somewhat, like, I was slightly intimidated, like, going there, because it seemed like everyone knew each other. Like, it was just like a whole bunch of snowboarders and skiers, and like honestly, like I was kind of shy. Like, I'm there, and everybody has their skis and their snowboard, and her and I, we just have like these little things that you sit down and slide on. And I'm there, I don't speak the language, and I'm also wearing a girl's jacket because I'm wearing her old jacket. We're like the same size, because I didn't bring enough freaking clothing from Southern California. Well, from California, I didn't bring enough clothing for the Slovakian winter. So I just feel like weird. Like, I don't want to just walk up and be like, hey guys, and then, majority of the people don't speak English. So instead, I just sort of like waited outside and just waited for her to come back. I thought, like, yeah, she'll be back in like just a few minutes. It won't be long. Like, yeah, how long can she take? So I waited for like 30 minutes, right? And everyone is starting to leave the bar now. The bar is closing. So I'm waiting maybe another 10 minutes, and everyone's gone now. Like, everyone's gone, and it's starting to get dark. And I'm thinking to myself, my phone's dead, my GoPro's dead. I have no way to get a hold of her, and I don't even see anyone around anymore, because it's right by a slope, and there's lots of people coming down the slope, but it's dark now, and there's no one really coming down the slope anymore. I mean, there's like a few people coming down the slope, but it's like one person every like 20 minutes, and it's people that are bold enough and brave enough to do night skiing. So I didn't really see anyone, and it's really quiet, and I was walking, I was yelling her name, and I was starting to freak out, because I was thinking about the things that had happened earlier in the day, how I was complaining, like, going up the hill, and I thought maybe she had just got pissed off, and I thought maybe she just ditched me, honestly. I thought that maybe she was like, I'm just tired of this dude. Like, he's just, like, I didn't know. Like, I waited there so long, and she never came back. And I just didn't know what to do. Like, I just didn't know what to do. So I started walking, right? And as I was walking, I was, like, yelling her name. I was calling her name, and I'm walking, and, like, nothing. This is a really long walk, by the way. I'm talking about, like, maybe 6 or 7 miles we walked up, or maybe 5 or 6 miles we walked up. But going down was much farther than going up, because we took a lot of shortcuts going up, because there was a main road that we could have taken going up. But it's shorter if you don't take the main road and you go, like, along this other path. But this other path is more, like, strenuous and more, like, uphill. But on the way back, I was going to take the main road, because I couldn't figure out that other road, because everything's covered in snow. Like, everything's white, guys. Everything's, like, covered in snow. It's really freaking difficult to walk, okay? Like, after after being there an hour, I was just so over it. Like, I didn't want to tell my friend this because I just wanted to just go along with it, but I just got really, really over it because it was so difficult to walk. Like, I'm just not used to walking on ice. Like, it's just so difficult to walk. Like, you just slip and slide, and everyone else around me, like, they have, like, you know, boots with, like, these nails in them, and, like, they're just running, you know, and it's like not even a lot of energy for them. But for me, like, I'm literally just dying, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And then after a wild night, like, I'm just exhausted, you know. Like, I don't even want to freaking, I don't even want to, I'm over this. I don't even want to be here anymore, you know. I don't know. So I ended up walking. I ended up catching a ride, okay, hitchhiking with people. They basically stopped because it was so dark. There was no one else around. I had no idea where I was going. The park was closing, so I guess these people worked at the park. They gave me a ride to the end of the park. I got to the end of the park. I had no idea where I was at the end of the park because none of this stuff looked familiar because it was everything, once again, everything was covered in snow, so everything was white. So I got to the end of the park, right? At the end of the park, I walked for maybe 30 minutes, and it's just houses, and there's nothing around, yo. Like, it's just houses and, like, just nothing. Like, no stores, no, there's like nothing, like just snow. Like, everything's white. So I found this one shop that was open. It was super small. It was incredibly tiny. I went inside, asked for an iPhone charger so I could possibly charge my phone and maybe get in contact with my friend. Nope, no one had an iPhone charger. iPhones are not really big in Slovakia. Slovakians don't make a lot of money per month. I think the average income, someone told me the average income for a Slovakian is around 400 or 500 euros a month, and that's like, I think, like $700 a month, or less than $700 a month, around $600 a month. So a lot of people don't have iPhones, so it's like impossible to find an iPhone charger. So I left that bar. I walked, and I saw some people crossing the street, and I yell at these people. I'm like, hey, you speak English? Someone yells back, la 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 la. So I'm like, oh, I guess you don't speak English. It was a girl that yelled back to me. And as I walked past the house that she went to, she was standing outside smoking a cigarette. There's a guy that comes to the door. And I said, hey, you speak English? He spoke English good enough. He says, you need help? And I said, yeah. I was in the mountains. I lost my friend. My phone died. I don't remember the name of the place that we were staying at. And I need an iPhone charger to charge my phone so I can call my friend to get back to the place where I'm staying. He's like, don't have an iPhone charger, but I can help you. So he gets in his car, drives me to the store, okay? He's calling like multiple people. You have an iPhone charger? Call another friend. You have an iPhone charger? Call another friend. You have an iPhone charger? Call another friend. You have an iPhone charger? Nobody has an iPhone charger. He's like, I know one guy. I think he has an iPhone charger. So we call this other guy. He's like, yeah, he has an iPhone charger. We shows up to this guy's house. Go to this guy's garage, man. This guy's got BMWs, and it's like this really nice house. Comes out with an iPhone charger. I charge my phone for like 2-3 minutes, make a call my friend, let her know, where are you? She's like, I'm here. You know, I'll meet you back at the hotel. We met back there. Oh my gosh. It was just really nerve-wracking. The guy that helped me, and he actually gave me a ride back to the hotel where I was staying at, because once we got to the guy's house with the iPhone charger, the guy's like, hey, where do you live? Where are you staying? And I told him, and he knew exactly where the place that I was staying, so we told the other guy that drove me to his house so I could use his iPhone charger. He told him, and the awesome guy actually drove me back to the place where I was staying. And then from there, it was just like, wow. I got back and I was thinking, this is crazy. What a crazy day. What an insane day. It was very weird, like, our relationship after that. Like, it was just, like, awkward. I mean, we're so cool, but I think that we both, like, worried about each other so much during that little time that we had away from each other. Like, I was super worried, and she was super worried. And I don't know. It was just one of those things, like, I was really scared, like, honestly. For hours. Like, for, like, 2 hours, like, I was terrified, like, I was so afraid, like, but I'm glad it's over with, and I'm glad nothing happened. I'm really glad it was over with, but it was not, wasn't an easy experience. And then from there, we can just fast forward a little bit. So I had to go all the way back from her little village, all the way to Austria, Vienna, and then I spent the night in Vienna, and then from Vienna, I caught a flight over to Germany. From Germany, I caught another flight back to Geneva. So why didn't I fly straight from Geneva? Well, once again, I booked so many last-minute flights. Like, my original plan was to go to Amsterdam. My original plan was, it was going to be really simple. It was going to be really, like, chill. I was just going to go to Amsterdam and just going to take this super cheap $40 flight and this super cheap $40 flight back. And in the winter, in the winter, Amsterdam is much cheaper than it is in the summer. So I was looking at the hostel prices, and I'm like, wow, everything's much cheaper. And wow, look at this, and look at that, and look at this, and wow, I can review these coffee shops, and I can review this. Because I was thinking of things to, like, content to produce while I was in Amsterdam, and I was just going to make coffee shop content, and that was what I was going to do in Amsterdam. And I ended up, like, going to Slovakia, you know, seeing a friend that I like a lot, and our relationship, like, has changed. It's like, I mean, we're cool, but, like, I think the worrying thing that, you know, it kind of messed it up, you know, a little bit, like, but I'm totally cool. It's not like we got into a fight or anything, but, like, I don't know, it's, yeah, I don't know, I don't know, it was just one of those things, you know. And then from there, went back to Germany, and then from Germany, okay, so now back in Geneva for the second time on this trip, and Geneva just one night, and then the next day caught a flight going back to the U.S. The flight on British Airways going back to the U.S. was insane, yo. I think British Airways is probably my favorite airlines. I think I'm going to have to make a video talking about different airlines I've taken, because I've taken so many different airlines now. Like, I really like the European airlines so much versus the American airlines, but British Airways, this flight. Okay, first off, this flight, I had two flights. The one from Geneva to London, that flight was chill. But it was the flight from London to San Francisco I was scratching my head on, and I did not want to take this flight because I had a middle seat on this flight, and I was like, yo, I do not want to have to sit on a middle seat hopping the pond. It was a middle seat in the middle of the plane, so you're not even near a window. You're just, like, in the middle of the plane, so I'm like, crap. Oh, gosh, British Airways. Another super weird thing that happened with British Airways. I was trying to check in on the internet, and it would not let me check in. It said that British Airways needed authorization from the U.S. government for me to check in. So I was all freaking out about that. I was like, yo, what is this all about? Is this got something to do with, like, TSA and, like, the government? Like, are they not going to let me back into the country? Like, what's going on? But it was all cool, like, right when I went up to the gate to check in and also to see if I could get a different seat, and which I wasn't able to get a different seat because that was basically a full flight. You know, they let me check in, no problems at all. But, like, it was sort of a scare. It was kind of weird to see something that says U.S. government authorization. Like, what, me? Like, I'm a U.S. citizen. I got a U.S. passport. Like, you're not going to let me come back? Like, wait, don't, I mean, what, I don't get it. What do you mean you don't want me to come back? So anyway, unsuccessful at getting another seat. So my next idea was this. This is what we'll do. I'll be the absolute last person to get on this plane. Once I'm the last person on this plane, if I see any empty seat that's better than the freaking seat that I have, I'll take it. So what do? I made sure I was literally the last person to get on the plane. So I just waited and waited. Boarding, last call, flight to San Francisco. Hey. Oh, and then what did they say? Oh, sir, you almost missed your flight. I'm like, yes. So I'm the last one on the plane. So now since I'm the last on the plane, I'm the last to sit down. What do? I walk up to my seat like normal. And then I look over and see another seat. And I see another seat. It's not a window seat, but it's an aisle seat. And that's much better than a window seat. Much better than a window seat, because if I get an aisle seat, I can drink on the flight and I can go to the laboratory or the toilet as many times as I want without bothering the next person. So that's why I really did not want a window seat, but an aisle seat would have been perfect. So I sat in this aisle seat, and everything was cool. Flight attendant comes up to me, and she's like, "Oh, sir, would you mind trading seats? There's a family sitting here, and the husband would like to sit next to, the family." And I said, "Yeah." She says, "I have an emergency exit seat for you with extra legroom. Would you like the emergency exit seat?" And I said, yeah. She actually did not even realize that I had stole that seat. She thought that was my seat. She thought that was she thought that was the seat that I picked. But actually, my seat was like farther up in the middle, and I told her, because I have a vegan meal, like I requested like a like a vegan meal, and when you change seats, you have to tell the flight attendant, otherwise they're going to take your food to that seat, and if you're not sitting there, they're going to take the food back. And if someone else is sitting there, they'll just give them the food. And if the person doesn't say, like, I didn't request this, that person's not going to know any difference. They're just going to think, wow, the flight attendant's just really nice to me, and they gave me their food first before everyone else. So from there, I moved over to this other seat, which was an emergency exit seat in the middle, by the way, in the middle, but it had leg room. And also, more importantly, I was able to get up and move without asking the other person to, get up and move for me. So I thought that was really, really, really cool, really, really smooth. So an hour into the flight attendant rolls around with, something for us to drink, okay? So they're rolling around. So I asked for, like, Jack and Coke. And I'm thinking they're just going to give me, like, 1 Jack and they're going to give me 1 Coke. The guy gives me, like, 2 Jacks and then he gives me 2 Cokes, right? So I was thinking, wow, that's very nice. Like, wow, thanks. In British Airways, when they serve the first drink, if you want, like, Coca-Cola for the first drink, you'll get Coca-Cola. And then they'll ask you, do you want wine for dinner? Because dinner will be served right after. So they asked, do you want wine for dinner, after they already gave me, like, 2 Jacks and 2 Cokes. So I was thinking, yeah, wine, I'll have red wine. So he gave me 2 red wines too. So I'm like, crap. And then the guy next to me gives me his 2 beers. And I'm thinking, what? What am I going to do with all this? So I'm literally sitting here with, like, just a freaking bar of alcohol, like, on a flight, hopping the pond, on my way back to San Francisco. I actually give the guy his 2 beers back because, come on, dude. I can't be mixing all that alcohol on a flight. I actually ended up killing all the freaking wine, all the freaking Jack Daniels. Drank a lot of water on the flight. Walked around a lot on the flight. Sat in multiple jump seats on the flight. One of the flight attendants, that, I think her name was Allison, by the way. If you're watching this from British Airways, like, Allison, flight attendant, the one that flies from London to San Francisco, she's freaking awesome, yo. She was, like, super cool, yo. She wasn't the one that hooked me up with the drinks, though. It was, like, another guy. Like, I don't remember his name. But Allison was, like, super, super cool if you're watching this from British Airways. But, yeah, I had a blast. So, just wanted to make a video talking about this European adventure because it was kind of a rough trip. Like, it was a very different trip. Very cool trip. But, anyway, thought I'd make a video talking about my past European adventure. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's a very different trip, and yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll definitely have more European adventures up ahead. But for now, thanks a lot for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace out, yo.